Hey, how are you, everybody? I was just thinking about something, and reflecting on something. You know, have been times when I have felt, you know, like my goodness was compromised. Yeah, well, and I realized, just it is a really it is a nasty time, the world we living right now, and it will not change probably ever. I already had a whole stream that I devoted to the theme of why people are so mean this today. Yeah, and it just made me now also think about how difficult it is for a good man to just remain good today and not give in to the temptation of being just like everybody else. Let's put it that way, just like the average man today. And that means being callous, being greedy, being you know you name it. I mean, all the deadly sins that are in the Bible. I mean, and pretty much probably every other the holy book. I mean, you see them today everywhere, right? I mean, you see examples of greed, pride, lust. Every time you turn on the TV, and by the way, more or less. And what else was it? Well, sloth. Well, I won't say that. Well, maybe, but I mean, it just is a really hard job and exhausting to always do what's right and try to strive to be good and do what's right. You know what? I always have tried to do what's right, except in situations where I found it was too difficult, where I had some sort of anxiety, or I felt the situation was not under my control. I felt the task, I was not up to the task, and then I would just walk away and give up. But otherwise, yeah, I always tried to do the right thing and be a good person when I go out anywhere. I don't go out looking like this, you know. I wear a friendly, expression. I don't smile really, like, because nobody really goes around like this, you know, because then everybody thinks you are, something's wrong with you. But yeah, I mean, I don't like go and watch, like, scowl at people, like. Maybe, of course, sometimes everybody has a bad day, then you don't feel like smiling or being too polite, but that's another thing. I mean, it is really difficult, to maintain this do good attitude, do gooder, as they call it. And another thing, many people don't like it. They can't take it, they hate it. And yeah, I've seen a lot of negative comments and people calling others do gooders and this and that. And so people don't like it when you say, especially if you point out that what they are doing, if they are doing something wrong or bad, they hate it if you point that out, if you tell them just straight to their face. they will even maybe punch you or at least hurl verbal abuse at you because they can't, but because they know deep inside, most of them also know they are not doing something good, they are doing something bad, but they hate to be reminded of that, right? They hate to be confronted with their, flaws and sins and whatever, you want to call it. And so, what good is being one of the few who isn't corrupted or, totally just a bad human, when most humans, and I mean, in the Western civilization anyway, I think they just think of themselves, of course, and there are few who will help you, like in really, like when it's not like convenient for them. Yeah, only if it's convenient. If it's not something that they really have to like, make an effort for. If it's something easy, but even then, like you see so many homeless people on the street and like very few people they could like give them something. I mean, if you don't have money on you, you can go to the ATM and then just take out some money and then go buy something and you have change and you can drop that change in that cup. Is that very difficult? Of course not. But will you do it to the average person? Of course not. And these people may not have. I know there are, of course, these who are, who do that, who don't really have to do it, yeah, but also many of them are really starving and don't have anything to eat, probably, except for a soup in the soup kitchen and stuff like that. So, yeah, there's a funny story. I just remember I was in a subway, with my mother, and once that was a long time ago now. Yeah. Anyway, this young man, he wasn't from here, but he held a cup, and then he said, because I think it's so funny because they never usually say that these people who ask for, they says, can you give me some money so I can go buy a cheeseburger? I was like really laughing at that. I mean, because but I like that. That's honesty. He doesn't say, "Oh, my children are, poor, starving, dying, whatever." That's all bullshit. With these gypsies, what they do. I mean, Roma, whatever you're gonna call him now. It's all bullshit. It's all a scam, right? We know that. But there are people there, people who like that, who say they wanna buy food, and especially when they say particularly what kind of food they want to buy, then give them money. That's not a scam, definitely. So I thought it was a good example because this guy was really honest and he wasn't like, give me money so I can buy, something that he cannot buy, definitely, with that money, he will need a lot more, So, yeah, but that's realistic. Give me enough, I can buy a cheeseburger. I'm not hungry for hours after I eat that cheeseburger. And he was this, rather short, not a big man, young man. People who can, sometimes they need just one cheeseburger to be, not be hungry for hours. So yeah, it's different. I mean, with big people, they need more, usually to eat more to, you not be hungry, to be full. But anyway, back to the main theme. This is I'm still laughing at this, man. Anyway, yeah, it's very exhausting, But when you have this kind of radar, like I do, like that forbids you to do bad things, or sometimes I may do certain things that may not be very like, there's nothing big, like nothing serious, but certain things that are not very moral, like, you know, say something offensive to somebody in a chat room, like, and I kind of regret it. Also, I'm like, I feel bad, I feel guilty afterwards. Why did I have to say that, right? But if even though that person was actually abusive to me also, or provocative or whatever, snide or, yeah, cynical. But yeah, I mean, one should always try to keep your, dignity, definitely. But there are some people, it depends, on the crowd. Some people just will laugh at that. They are asshole, they are jerks, they are really bad people. They will, just continue to ridicule you. And then it doesn't help, to be nice and polite. You either go, ignore him, go away, walk away, or it's on, right? Yeah, you use their method, like F you, mother FR, and then it's on the fight, probably. Well, that's not good. I'm not saying you should do that, but sometimes, yeah, I mean, certain people are really, oh, they really can test your patience, right? Your virtue. Yeah, I know. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's difficult, at least with a guy. When you are a guy, he's a guy, you can, kick his ass. But when it's a girl, a woman, what are you gonna do? You're not gonna hit the woman, are you? So then it's best to walk away, probably, or try to give her, try to own her verbally, like, just give it to her, like, you are this and that. So, yeah, I mean, in most cases, I mean, one should always try not to get in a fight, anyway, for sure. However, some people just, want, they are looking for, you know, for a fight, for a BS. They are up to no good, and then they might not take it, they will not accept you backing off, sometimes. So, in those cases, sometimes, yeah, you almost have to fight, almost. Yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, yeah. And now with all this violence happening in this everywhere, in the big town, big cities, here as well. Oh man, there are so many fights happening here, and why? That's why I would like to, because of the attitude. There's so many people, especially young people, whose attitude stinks, really stinks. It is, I'm looking for the best English word. It is just, uh, yeah, I can't really find a word. So many people with just a really hideous attitude, really. I mean, like they strut around thinking they are God Almighty, and if you like, sometimes it's just enough to bump into them, like, by accident, and then they're like ready to fight you, like. And I'm like, I'm, as I said, not really a fighter. I'm not, never really had a real fight except in school when I was 8 years old or something, once or twice. Um, but yeah, sometimes when I see those people, I really want to kick their fucking ass, man. I mean, sometimes there's something in me that kind of can't let go of things sometimes, and that's not good. But yeah, it's just because I have such a great a high sense of what's right and what's wrong, and not able to take a lot of bullshit and a lot of really deplorable, let's say, behavior, really despicable behavior. And I see that behavior almost every time I go to the city. I'm glad I don't live there. So then I would have to bump into those people every day, almost every time I go out. Yeah, it's not like people here are that much better, but at least, yeah, it's a little less of that. This is the suburbs, yeah. So anyway, I should finish now. Getting to starting to ramble on too long. Uh, so yeah, I really love talking about this, really, because it is a big problem now. So sometimes if you give in to your anger or to your hate, that's also very destructive, of course. However, maybe it can feel good even. I mean, to just punch out somebody that had it coming, that really deserved it, but it can get you in trouble. Definitely, just think about that. Maybe that guy has friends who, are really nasty pieces of work, or maybe he can sue you or whatever. So always think about that before you swing here, before you start swinging. All right. So to cap this off, yeah, today it is very hard to always be good and to keep your patience, keep your calm. And it is not very rewarding always either, because sometimes goodness can be misinterpreted for, like you preaching, like, you like to preach, you think you are this and that, you think you are so high and mighty or whatever, you think you are the high priest of morale or whatever. So yeah, that's how fucked up it is now, because people think if somebody is speaking good, something that is true and right, and or morally right, they feel it's bull, it's BS. They are like, they become like really, like negative and just hate that guy who tells them all that. So yeah, don't bother. You should always reserve that for people that you care about. And make them, listen. Like try to make them listen and help them on the right path. Definitely. Yeah, because if you don't, yeah, you'll probably lose them eventually, and as people, they will lose themselves. They will lose their values, as people. Many have already, because they see what the others are doing. That's why I always see what the others are doing, so I know what not to do. Actually, what the majority is doing, I do the opposite way. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.